Good morning, beautiful souls. It's Teresa Coutman at the Woo Report, and it is 9/11/2025, and it is about 8 a.m. I know this is late. There's a lot of voices this morning. I'm sure everybody heard the news about political assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's a very sad day for his family and for our nation. That political violence is turned into some sort of banana republic. Very sad today. And so are many others in the collective. But what I found was interesting, so we're going to do a recap on the energy of that I've been going through. So how I've been doing it is I did now date these, so it makes it just a little bit easier. So this is for September 9th, the guidance that I gave. So that was with the guidance. I'm just going to do 2, so I'm not going to go back that far. Yesterday's draw. September 9th's draw. Let's go start there. I'm not going to go to the 8th. But it's interesting because the 8th did have, we've just been going through this energy here. Get my chart going. You know, these jagged, really strong here. And then still more. And I looked at these like swords, and then I started looking at them like they look like crosses, like, you know, your cross to bear kind of thing. I did not like the energy, do not like the energy that has been produced these last few days. It's not the worst, excuse me, able to get through, but now we know. So with my drawings, I'm going to go through them and see. We'll do just a recap, just to show I'm new to this, and I do have intuitive abilities. So doing these cards every day is, I just want to see if I do. Should you listen to me? Should I continue this? But I was very, I wouldn't say successful, but I had a lot of success in operating in the prophetic and things like of that nature. So, in the church, so I consider the collective, the body, and the body of Christ, the church, collective, same thing. We're all going together. And even the shadow and the bad parts we have to work through because they're in ourselves, outer and inner. So there's not really a lot of blame you can do. It just is what it is and what we're going through. And we got to work through it as a collective, and hopefully in civilized ways, loving ways, even though we don't agree and don't see eye to eye on certain things. So, so yesterday, so the 9th draw, so that was 9 a.m. From the 9th to 9 a.m. to the 10th. I'm sorry, 10 a.m., 10 to 10. So on that, it went into some of yesterday. This guidance did here. This one right here. This is what I'm talking about. So that guidance was the Chariot, 2 of Pentacles, Death, 6 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, King, 10 of Cups. The guidance, that was the energy we've lived through already. And that was on this was this energy here. This energy here matches to this card, these cards here. This and that. So, that brought a lot of anxiety with the Chariot and the Death card. So it was a really interesting draw. There was one major arcana in the main draw. These 4 cards right here. The first 4 cards of the Chariot was our root chakra. The let's see, what did I say? That was the 6 of Wands was our vibration. And the 2 of Pentacles was what challenges us. And the Knight of Pentacles was the outcome for the day. And the hidden was the King of Cups. And then the clarifiers were the 10 of Cups and death. So it was saying that family is really important. To no matter what happens to us, that community and those bonds can help us get through anything. So now we come to the 10th reading, the 10th, which is still in effect right now. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, here we go. So that is in effect right now still until 10 this morning. So from 10 o'clock yesterday, 10 o'clock this morning. So on the chart, it's right here, this area in here. And we already have some of it shown up. So this was 10 a.m. yesterday here. It's 17 UTC. So as we can see, as the afternoon progressed, this was the energy. So it was 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have to about 1 o'clock here. About 1 o'clock. So it's 17. That's 10. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Correction. This is till about 9 o'clock p.m. last night. So this energy is already lived. That's why the draw is to match it up to this energy, because that's one of a scientific method that I'm trying to use. We'll see, how it plays out with the tarot readings and my intuition also. But so far, I've really been, pleased with the cards, how it's been working out. Like I said, I'm new to this, so doing this daily draw and working on just every day saying this, and this, and let my intuition work every day. So it's a practice, and I want to encourage everybody else to practice also, whatever it is, that's in your heart to do or what you want to do. As a collective, that's one of the things we're called to do, is to be that individual, because then the collective will be stronger. As individuals get stronger and are living their dreams and living the life they want to live, and we're working in cooperation and in love together, then of course everything's going to be better for everybody. No matter what your color, your race, your creed, everybody will be better. So, with that said, these have been really jagged energies. And so 9:10, we're still getting through my read. So I did this before 10 o'clock on yesterday, which was a Wednesday. It was a Wednesday. So I did it yesterday. And I recorded a second video, but I did not post it because I had to go to a very important doctor's meeting. I didn't have time. It was like almost, and I made this appointment before I started. I have appointments every 6 months. And while it was a sad day yesterday, I also had, really good news, because my CEA levels were up and now they're back down into a normal range, not abnormal. So that's the chemical they look for in your blood work for cancer. So when I got diagnosed, it was at an 8. Now it's a 2. And some people say it goes really, really high. And I'm not exactly sure what different labs they use. But so I was really pleased with my, the work I've put in, by exercising, eating right. All my blood work is way better. So everything is looking really good. So I'm really pleased with that hard work. Sometimes you get, beat down. You think, oh, does it really matter that I eat this gruel? I'm eating this flaxseed stuff, oil and cottage cheese. It's just this mix. It's called the Budwood Protocol. So maybe I can talk about that more in other videos about health things. If anything else, I'm sure they say this epidemic, and for older people, and I'm not really that old. I'm the young old, so I'm only 60, early 60s. So, so the draw for 610, and okay, so I did record exactly. Here's what I said yesterday, just before I knew any of the events of the day. Transcript, if you go look at my video from yesterday, my guidance for 910 that I put out before the 910 started. So it started at 10 a.m. So I wrote starting at 18 minutes and 42 seconds. This shows you some of my tarot readings. I get chatty. So I'm part chatty grandma here. And I said, I'm going to read from the transcript, so I say some ums. So I just left the ums in there. Something's brewing, and you really need to pay attention when 3 major arcana show up in a spread. And those aren't even the clarifying cards. So those are just in the direct 5-card spread. Well, it's really a 4-card spread, and the Queen of Pentacles that we see here at the bottom is a hidden card. So it's just the bottom of the deck. So it's a showing card, but we can't see it unless we flip over the deck. So, but it's still facing. It's a facing card. So I like using that card with the main draw. So I thought it was really interesting, and I we'll see if this means that something in the collective is going to happen related to our fates. That's the outcome of something that's happened today. And maybe, sometimes you can't see those things. Of something will sign into law, or something will happen. And then something on that. So there's like layers to this too. So let's do a affirmation. We'll first do the guidance. We're navigating uncertainty and illusions with the moon and the sun blocking or challenging while being asked to stay grounded in independence and stability with the 9 and the Queen of Pentacles. The sun may feel obscured. That's joy. That was our challenge. But destiny is still weaving in the fates. So that was before I heard of course, it was 10 a.m. Charlie Kirk had not been shot at that time. So those major arcanas do matter, like when they show up in your readings and stuff. Pay closer attention to them and go a little bit deeper, because they are telling you something. So I was really surprised yesterday how many major arcanas were in a 4-card spread, which is, our foundation, which was the moon. The Pentacles was next, is our vibration. Excuse me. The 3rd card was our challenge, which was the sun, which is normally a great card, but in that position, not to be our challenge. It was going to be our challenge to find joy and happiness. So, yeah, some noise going on. Somebody's doing something. So, with that, you can see that was a fateful day. Our fates were changed as a collective. I mean, there's just no denying that the political violence has just reached an unbearable, unfathomable crescendo. And hopefully I'll give guidance what the card said going forward, because I don't have a clue to how to fix things or how to make things or people right. I just do not know. I know myself and my family. I'm not prone to political violence. I do have political opinions, and they're more libertarian in nature. Socially, do what the collective wants. Fiscally, no, we're going to count every penny, and you only do what you're supposed to do, kind of thing. So, more rules on them than the collective. So, that's my political standing. So, so today's guidance. Let's get into that. Let me turn this all off. Oh my goodness, so sad. All right. We'll turn off again with the Schumann resonance. This is what we already lived and what my reading was for here. So it was from here to here. And we'll see the rest of that. They post it usually at around 10 a.m. And since today was a kind of I don't want to call it special, but a important milestone or key point in America's future and the collective's future, that I'm going to come back and review again with the new energy and see what that shows. Like I said, I did do one yesterday after my tarot reading, the morning one, but I just didn't post it. So maybe I'll just append that and go through that and see what I said. But I don't know. I was kind of upset yesterday. First, I just heard that he had been shot, was in critical condition, and then later, I don't know exactly what time that he died. Maybe I will find out some of those facts, and we can see how the energy reflected, how the collective reacted to those things. As you can see, last night, we had a lot of that, more of this, a lot of red. So a lot of people are just angry because to them, that was a person who may have even been slotted for a presidency. That person was that important and that knowledgeable. And we can kind of see, I'm going to frame my whole reading on some of that energy of the collective. Excuse me. But also just a general, like, what, just the cards by themselves without taking into the facts of things that have happened, which is kind of hard to do. Okay, so let's turn off this stuff. Put on our draw. We want to pause it. Okay, turn off 9-10, yesterday's draw. We just want the reading. Okay. And I think I can make it a little bit bigger. So the first card was the Knight of Swords. And that's decisive, fast-moving energy pushing forward. But I like what the Dream Keeper's tarot said about this, which was really, I thought, really good. Because when I first looked at this, the whole draw, Spirit really made me stop and think about the draw and what it meant to what had happened, because I was really shocked at yesterday's draw and how those major arcana showed up, and the sun, our joy, our happiness, was the challenge for yesterday. Guidance, and even today until 10 a.m. that is still in effect, that guidance. So, And my oldest son really liked Charlie Kirk and listened to him. I just remember him from Turning Point, the organization that set up stuff in swing states. They just made sure voting rolls were cleaned up and made sure there's no shenanigans going on. That's all I remember. And to me, he seemed like a really nice person, and not at all, what people are saying about him. Yeah, he was a Catholic and a Christian. I'm a Christian, but maybe a lefty. Maybe a, what do they call those people? Not a heretic. The Essenes. It's like it's maybe more esoteric stuff mixed up in it. So anyway, but we would have a difference of opinion. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't appreciate and see his leadership abilities. He's getting stuff done, very effective in his work. And, anybody should, get kudos for those things. And so here's what the Dream Tarot book says about the Knight of Swords. I'll just take some key parts out of it. So the Knight of Swords is known for quick wit and radical fervor. He is a problem solver and a revolutionary. He is the action card of the mind, unwavering in his ideals. He does not waste his energies in a fight just for the love of the battle. He must be driven by reason. Charlie Kirk was a very reasonable person, very quick-witted, and maybe he had radical fervor, and maybe a revolutionary, not the kind of revolutionary you think of when you think of, what has been presented in my lifetime as a revolutionary. Arafat is one of the people. I remember France putting him up as a freedom fighter. And that fight is still going on, but when it's filled with corruption and different things, it just is not going to pan out. You have to anchor your political beliefs in love, understanding, truth, and real openness, and really a willingness to listen to others and to respect others and their perspective. So it said, as such, if there were anything this knight is willing to go to battle for, it would be in favor of the freedom of speech and the free flow of information. He never hesitates to upturn the given order, especially if it becomes an impediment to his goals. He is guided by his intellect and will not be swayed by emotions, either his own or those of others. Ask him what he thinks, and you will get a direct answer. Get in the way, and be ready to face a challenge. Not a challenge necessarily of put up your dukes, but a challenge of reason, of intellect, of debate. That is what American politics should be. He was the epitome of what a politician should be, rising up from the ranks and getting people's favor by actions. What he has accomplished and what he is able to accomplish in his executive function. He had a gift, and that gift was taken, and that is wrong. To want to cut down your enemy by taking out the up-and-coming generals. But it won't be successful. Okay, so he is as clever as he was brave, and is rather adroit in winning battles. He can also be rebellious. The Knight of Swords can be rebellious, and is prone to clashes with those he deems to be antagonistic. Not given to political correctness, subtlety subtly, or politeness, his approach can create unnecessary conflicts with friends and allies. As the history of many revolutionaries will demonstrate, the knights that lead the revolution are not always the best to be in charge afterwards. So I think that this knight does represent Charlie Kirk. And going forward in the message is that he did go against some of the people. He was talking about October 7th as an inside job, the Israelis. So, and those are valid questions, and everybody should want valid questions and we deserve political answers from our leaders, from whatever sphere of political ideology that you come from. So, what it says, though, is that he can become his presence is helpful and himself rather brilliant, but in some respects, this book says he is nothing more than a flash in the pan. That's kind of interesting because his life was over in such a flash, but I don't really think it was the flash in the pan, like it had no meaning. So it says his capacity, the Knight of Swords capacity for quick action and astute mental faculties in order to take care of a situation that requires a swift conclusion. Intelligence, wit, idealism, assertiveness, and courage is the key words for that card. So that kind of, sums him up in a lot of ways. And the flash in the pan is only because I really do believe, and I was reading comments that some people say he was, kind of like slotted as a presidential candidate in the future. And those are the kind of people we need, people with administrative skills, bravery, executive skills. And those are something that, argue all you want with President Trump, he has executive skills. And those are gifts from God. Administration, the gift of administration. So we'll see how all this works out. So let's go forward with the reading. The second card is the vibration. And today it is the Four of Pentacles. So in the Four of Pentacles, it's the collective, holding tight, protecting resources, maybe even resisting change. So I'm not sure how this is tying in, but it could be also some financial areas. I don't know what the stock market's doing right now. I've just been kind of like the person who, I can't invest a lot, but I do, whatever money I do have, you can hold it in Bitcoin until you need to spend it. So, and that's been worked for me. You can make a little bit, but it's not a lot, but it's better than it just sitting in a bank making zilch. But you have to know that you might have to take it out and not make as much as you would just wait 3 days. But I can't wait 3 days. I got to pay the rent, or I got to pay the insurance. So with that, with the vibration of the Four of Pentacles, and two, I think when something happens like this, we want to restrain, saying, oh my gosh, what's happening? I don't want to spend, that's why 9/11, it's like, it blew me away when you look back and they gave us money and said, go shopping. It's like, okay, because people have a tendency when something happens, like in trauma, they don't want to go shopping. But sure, government money, I'm going to go spend it. Forget my problems, forget what's happening around the world. Anyway, So that, right now, the vibration in the collective, tarot reading says it's thus. And I don't necessarily call it these cards. It's my intuition. So whatever's coming up is through me, through symbology and symbols. That's all the tarot cards are, symbols of us. And I could do this a different way for the church if, I don't know, if there's not a lot of time in the day. But, do it through prophetic words and, speaking in tongues and stuff like that. But that's a crazy gift. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, so we have the Four of Pentacles is our vibration today, what we're feeling. And then the challenge is the Eight of Swords. So the trap of feeling stuck in mental loops. So, but with this card, you can't really see it. And, I'm really sorry that my camera is so bad. Shouldn't be sorry. It's like my sorry self that I don't have enough money to go buy one. Anyway, so the swords on this card, I don't have her. I did have her book. You can see this open dress. That's her heart there, and she has wings. So it's really a pretty cup, and that is the cup. Third card. I do mark these. The Eight of Swords. I don't even know if you can see it on here, and they're not in color either. In her dress. There's ships. There's ships coming in. So the Eight of Swords represents feeling restricted, insecure, isolated, and powerless. It suggests an experience of victim mentality, of being so imprisoned by one's own mind that the very act of thinking becomes limited, rigid, and uncertain. This card represents being inhibited, uptight, and maintaining the status quo at all costs. So, restrictions, powerlessness, negative thoughts, victim mentality. So with this challenge, there are a lot of people in our country who have a victim mentality. And while I can see the unfairness and even the unfairness in my own life, I don't think anybody owes me anything or gives me a reason to hate others for the system that is, that, I really do believe patriarchy harms everybody, and, it's in the flux. We're changing, and as society's needs change, it doesn't happen overnight. But we all can see the issues. Now, how to solve those issues that's not political violence. But some people may feel trapped in that victim mentality. But those ships in her dress show us that help is there, and we're not alone. And she has wings, so can just fly away. Anyway, that's just really interesting that the Eight of Swords is that a feeling stuck in victim mentality. So I do really like this book. It's Liz Houston, The Dream Keepers Tarot. My son got me this when we went to Half Price Books. So I appreciate that. And then, so that is the Eight of Swords challenge card for today. And then, so that goes both ways in the political aisles, the victim mentality. So let's go forward. And the next card is the outcome. And our outcome card is really one of my favorite cards in this deck. It's really beautiful. It's the Nine of Cups. Very beautiful card. And it's emotional wish fulfillment is possible if we move through the stuckness. So with the Nine of Cups, I've read this before because this came up in the Pisces keyhole portal. The eclipse was in Pisces in the moon. the lunar eclipse. So this is, it's actually wish fulfillment, satisfaction, manifestation. One of the most pleasant and uplifting cards in the deck. When the Nine of Cups is present, it points to all manner of good things. If you have been experiencing difficulties, have been in a state of fear or of anxiety regarding your situation, or the collective situation, the message of this card is that relief is on the way in the form of wishes come true and prayers answered. So, as a whole, to me, this is reading like we've had pain, but the pain of this to our nation, of this assassination, is going to bring good things. And it's just going to unlock more of good things and good governance. So I'm at a loss when what happened, but so then we have the clarifiers of the hidden cup is the Five of Cups, and that's grief, regret, running under the surface. So with this hidden card, we need to process the grief. So if things are making you sad or you're angry, process it in healthy ways. Journal, do a podcast. I actually did stream last night for the first time yesterday, just as a way to channel the energy in a positive way. So we can do that. If you're angry, sad, and I've already gave guidance on if you're happy about death and destruction, you should really look inside to your shadow self and wonder what's inside me. Why is this percolating like this? Because it brings upon bad energy upon yourself when you wish bad onto others. And that's one of the first, law of attraction, biblical principles, that your thoughts become your actions. So if you're always thinking, oh, I'm a victim and these people did this to me and that people did that, you're going to hate others and have hate and unforgiveness in your heart. And it's not a good thing to have for anybody. So with that, we need to process all those feelings in our shadow. And even those people who you feel like, oh, their reaction, they're crazy or whatever, it's all a reflection of us as a whole, as a collective, and it's part of us and their shadow self. And some of our problems are caused by us not going through our shadow work kind of thing. So the more the individual can get through these principles and the shadow work, the better it is for them, their families, their neighbors, their communities, our nation, our families, just ripples out. So that is the hidden card. And then the clarifying cards today, again going from 10 a.m. this morning to 10 a.m. on the 12th, are the Seven of Wands, which is a card of defending your position. But with this card, the Four of Cups, we may need to watch for apathy or missed opportunities. So I do feel like a lot of people are going to be politically standing their ground and not want to lose what they've gained. I mean, it was, a feat of a lot of people's work who got a candidate elected. Anybody can do that. If you put up a good enough candidate and you can get enough support, you can get somebody elected. And instead of trying to kill the opponent, put that energy into becoming that energy, that Knight of Swords, finding those people who can go out with intellect, bravery, and be somebody that the populace, the collective, can believe in. So that's, my take on this situation. And I don't want to be political, but our collective is in a political place. And how did we get here, Dorothy? Anyway, my dream, back to the Dorothy theme, with the ruby slippers turning into combat boots, it's really like a really cool thing I'm working in. It's a dream for the collective. And I might just do what I have and just bring it forward, maybe tomorrow. Today I want to look through what I said yesterday that I didn't post. It was supposed to be the second half, but I had to leave here in time for appointment. So my future appointments, though, that, every 3 months right now, I go in, and this one is a 6 month, so I do another scan and all that. But anyway, I made sure all of those appointments coming up were after the time that I could get out 2 readings if I needed to in a day. So this is about I'm going to count to my 25th day. So I'm so proud of myself, even though it's not been great and not been, on time and all that. I've showed up and I've done it. So yay me. And we should all celebrate any kind of wins and victories that we can find in this day and age. So that is the guidance for the day. Today's energy may feel urgent but restrictive. We can see that, let me see, I do have the image. So we'll take away that. But it's fairly sad. Really small. I don't want it so small. Really dark. I really do need good lighting and a new camera. Okay, so this is the energy for the guidance going forward from 10 a.m. today, 9/11, till 10 a.m., 9/12. And today's energy may feel urgent but restrictive. Knight of Swords wants speed, but 4 of Pentacles plus 8 of Swords lock things down. The key is shifting perception. 9 of Cups says fulfillment is possible only if we stop staring at what's lost. The 5 of Cups. And wake up to what's still being offered. 4 of Cups. Defend your ground. 7 of Wands, without getting rigid. So I think that's a really good reading, and it's kind of like a no-brainer for today. No matter what position you are, if you're happy, I really feel bad. If you feel happy of what happened, I feel bad for you. And I hope that you can reflect and see how you can better yourself and your environment and your own light body, and work on some constructive ways to work on if you feel like you're a victim. And yet there are things wrong, and we need people with skills that can address them without violence. Because I, too, can see, like with the Occupy movement and things, I can see and agreed with everything they said. It was their solutions that seemed whacked. It seemed like they were, young people with no experience trying to come up with solutions, whereas older people would tell you, like the Tea Party people could tell you, that's not going to work. The government is not on our side. Duh. Okay, so, and I seen that, and I was really apathetic. I was younger with the Iran-Contra affair. The CIA, our government, selling drugs for, deep state operations, CIA, what have you, upseating governments, I don't know. It's probably so deep. In the tangle. It reminds me of when I was putting on the combat boots in my dream. The laces were real fancy, and they're all getting tangled. They were like satin and lace, but these were like genuine combat boots I was trying to lace up. So it was really interesting. So wake up to what's still being offered with the 4 of Cups. And I also looked at that 4 of Cups also as a clarifying card that we're really sad, but I think, Charlie Kirk's energy would want us to go forward, and there's some happiness to it. And I think the outcome card with the Nine of Cups is very beautiful, that his death isn't going to be for naught. And hopefully we can clean up our acts and come on a more stable footing and a more reasonable agree to disagree footing, and not have it ratcheted up to such a degree that people's behavior scare me, and the reaction. I know there's going to be crazies that do hurt people, but for other normal people to celebrate that is just very unsettling. So with that was today's guidance and today's energy. We already seen what it was until throughout the evening last night till 9 p.m. And we'll see what the rest of this, but this goes to the drawing of the 9:10. So it's energy already lived pretty much until like 10 o'clock. So my drawing for 9:10, it's almost like a post-mortem. When this full chart comes out, it's our energy already lived. But I gave my guidance yesterday for this day before 10 a.m. So before this energy started, like this one today is going to be from here. From here, so 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. So 24-hour period. So happy rest of your morning. And this is a little bit late. I want to get this out earlier, so the collective who gets up and wants chatty grandma maybe for coffee. And I really would like to do some of this live. I did try to do a live stream yesterday. I couldn't figure out the chat, so I have to figure out chat and all that. But I'm up for it. So I hope you're up for your you going forward with whatever you're doing and your goals, and with the law of attraction and positive. It's more than positive thinking. It's positive being, forgiveness of yourself and others, acceptance of what is. That serenity prayer to change things, the wisdom and all that. But those things do matter, and they matter more and more importantly in a civil society. So from there, I will talk to you soon, and I love you. I really do love the collective, and I want the best for our country. So I'll see you soon.